boy. He's always waiting for me outside. Now, I was just thinking, here we go. Orson Welles, he's notorious for the fact that there's been quite a lot of, productions about his productions, that he is a genius, he's a madman, and obviously like Marlon Brando and many other geniuses, he became a kind of a caricature. But he's still in his prime at this point in I think it's 1939 or 1938, because I see it.
Yeah, I think it's 1938. I think.
Right. So it's December 24th. He's putting on A Christmas Carol. He's been doing this every week. He's been taking a novel and putting it up there at Mercury Theatre for the Campbell's Soup people.
Yeah.
And as always, with somebody of this nature, there's as much drama behind the screen, behind the kind of mics as there is, in front. So what drew you guys to it then? How did you decide, well, this is a story?
Well, we were thinking about looking to put a show on for Christmas and trying to find the right kind of combination. And the Christmas Carol's obviously been done a lot of different ways. But yeah, I was very interested in Orson Welles and the radio play aspect, the whole War of the Worlds and things like that, that he's so fantastic in that element, and then how could that work in a theatre? And then just doing some research, I discovered that Orson, during his insane radio days when he was a huge radio star, and shortly after War of the Worlds, he had this situation where he was doing Christmas Carol, and his actor playing Scrooge actually got sick at the last minute. And who was much beloved playing the part from before, and so instead of cancelling it or bringing another actor in or putting it back a week, Orson decided at the last minute to just say, oh well, I'm fantastic, I will just play the part as well and continue to narrate. It just means we have to recast everybody who was in the show and has been rehearsing all week, and we'll just change it around. It'll be fine, even though we're doing it live in front of the entire United States on the radio.
We should mention it was Lionel Barrymore who's the grandfather of Drew Barrymore, and he'd done it 5 times before, and he was sort of seen as perfect in the part of Scrooge. So for a lot of the fellow actors and a lot of the audience, this was a tradition almost already, and there would have been a sense that, we love Lionel. Now Orson, bigger than life in many ways, and certainly well capable of acting the part. You still sort of feel a lot of people probably were slightly put out by, it's not Lionel, it's Orson, and now we have to suddenly re kind of adjust our sets all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And as I say, people were expecting it. It's a lovely Christmas tradition, but Orson was just such a megalomaniac at the time. He had done War of the Worlds. Hollywood people were talking to him. He was so full of himself that he wouldn't. Instead of that being, obviously it was a problem and something to be solved, but. He still felt he could fix it. I
always get the impression, and there's been a few accounts like Cradle Will Rock and Me and Orson and all that, those sort of moments, he actually really kind of feeds off that, I think, as opposed to, this is disastrous, this is trouble. It's almost like he needs to provoke, that sort of fire kind of reaction from people that creates a certain, energy that he uses and lives off. And
that's a drama.
Absolutely. And he would do that, I think, a lot. He had no problem with having his cast, the idea of running around from place to place, staying up all night to rehearse something. I think, personally, he did like the drama of it. I think he actually didn't. Real life, I think, almost was harder for Orson. They talk about this with his family life and things. Sometimes just the normal, mellow real life was actually harder for him than the chaos of a huge cast coming together and pulling off a miracle and saving the day and doing what the authorities said you couldn't possibly pull off. Orson and his little team would manage it, but then there would be the cost of the how much that would. And it kind of happens in our story is that the actors are talking about they're almost literally revolting.
Right.
They're so tired. They're so sick of Orson rechanging the lines and thinking a better way of doing it. So there's that cost to him on the far side.
Well, there is that thing of him taking a classic novel every week and adapting it in 1 week for that week's radio show. Do you feel, I don't know, in this case, did he reinvent the wheel at all in regard to Dickens, or this is really about the actual production as not so much about the actual Christmas Carol? But do you feel he was always bringing something to these kind of, like he obviously did with War of the Worlds? I don't know if you felt he did here. There was something different about his production that would have surprised people, or it's topless, right? The whole thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well, that's right.
Topless with spangles.
Yeah. It works well on radio. It's just
a lot of imagining.
Yeah.
It's quite respectful, I think, of the original material in that. But he does really know how to shape a story and to condense it down and to really take the salient points, I think.
Yeah.
Because it is a really great adaptation.
He's powerful at capturing the emotional moments in it. I think some of the bits that maybe are slipped over a little bit, like Scrooge's, that his early life with with the girl he gives up and stuff. I think Orson, he is amazing at grabbing, like he does in Citizen Kane and things, just grabbing these little moments of powerful emotion making them register and then moving on. You know.
I suppose ultimately the greatest thing for a creator is the editing skill, being able to recognise what needs to go and what needs to stay, and finding shortcuts to that sort of kick that otherwise could have been pages of nothing. You know,
he's astonishing at that. And literally, he would do this once a week.
Now we have established that he's a megalomaniac. He's full of himself. He's got all this sort of ego coursing through his veins. So you're playing him, Paul. Was this
yes, you know.
So a bit of typecasting.
But they keep saying.
Was there any preparation at all for this role?
they said put on an American accent. You're done.
So it is. Does it feel daunting? You know, because taking on. I know he's been played quite a lot now, and he pops up in even just he's one of the great sort of cameo appearances of that era. People just sort of regard him as a measuring kind of stick of worth and all that. I don't know whether you felt the need to go looking, or whether it's all there already. People know him. People are aware of him. Or
no, I did feel like the sense that I didn't want to do some cheap, quick idea of him. So I actually did. I listened to a lot of his radio work, a lot of the plays. Obviously watched a number of the films, read a few of the books, and he's such a complex, interesting character. Even his voice is like really interesting. He had this. They called it a kind of an Oxonian accent. This very well-educated American accent.
Sure, yeah.
He has that deep, amazing voice.
Makes you want to drink port all the time.
But no, he's such an interesting, complex man, and I think he's something you can feel like you can never reach the well of.
Right.
He's so interesting, so complex. Just not like nobody else,
Now I should say AboutFace 2002 was it you started?
Yes.
There's been 7. You've had 7 kind of. I know you've travelled to New York and all that, and your slogan is life is better with theatre. What's the slogan again?
Yeah, theatre makes life better.
There you go. So I'm guessing for you, theatre does make life better. I'm sure it's been something that's been part of you both for I don't know how you got into this. Was it the school time kind of years that you first started this, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've been involved in drama all the way through from when I was very little, creating it and on the stage. No, but we actually met in drama school, and then AboutFace was formed out of a production of Hamlet. So Rosencrantz and Guildenstern and
oh, nice, right.
The Artes and Ophelia. Yeah. Formed a company.
So we met in a production of Hamlet, and then decided to put our own show on, and that's how it kind of got started.
And it's a tough life, the actor's life, because there is unpredictability all over the place in regard to certainly with making a living is a tough call. But then just finding all the right combinations of the right theatre, the right people, the right production, that all just suddenly the magic happens.
Yeah.
And it can be a long road to get to those moments. I don't know whether you guys feel it's healthy right now, or whether it's something that always has that ability to both surprise you and disappoint you. You just don't know.
I think over time you learn how to maybe ride the waves a little bit better, or just to hold in that space of the unknown, because it's very much day to day. You don't know what it holds. And what part of AboutFace for us, and why theatre does make life better, through AboutFace, is that we are creating our own company. So we have a monthly get together for actors. That's the Great Plays game, where we read a great play. And so that's something consistent in an otherwise inconsistent world, where actors get to play and just be with one another. So we try to shape what we can, out of the chaos. We try to shape a little bit of consistency and joy when we can.
You became millionaires in 2009, I think, on the back of all this.
Yes, absolutely, yes. Yeah. I would say to anyone, theatre is the way to your millions. Forget tech. Theatre is the way.
I'm just glad we were able to accommodate your helicopter over here with a good flat roof.
It's number 2.
So, in regard to the fact that for all sort of forms of entertainment, the internet sort of changed the picture. I don't know whether that is something that you could say you've addressed or you use in any way, or whether theatre is really about the stage. I mean, I'm just curious whether internet has sort of played a part, because there seems to be so many. You look at comedians, you look at so many people that sort of put their work online now, and sort of use that as a way of reaching an audience and creating some sort of kind of finances. I mean, is that something that happens in theatre? I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't really sort of seen.
There's a little bit of monetization of it, in that you can have subscribers, so that if they can't come to the theatre, they might be able to watch, but then there's all sorts of rights issues and things like that, so you have to and even if you look at the National Theatre, they have shows that they bring to cinema screens, so I think that there is more of that, and I think that it's a live art form.
Right.
So you always lose something, I think, in the video, because it takes away that presence that we're in a room together, breathing together, and you know, that hearing and listening to each other, and so I think that theater's trying to figure it out, but I don't think it's found how to do it yet.
And it's like the live music thing; it really can't be the same ever. It's just like a fax of the actual event. Now, we'll do two things. I'm going to put a link to there's a download available of one of the original Orson Welles, Lionel Barrymore performances, so we'll give people a link to that so they can get a taste of what it's about. But really what the play is about is the putting on the production and that wonderful, gorgeous panic that Orson always seems to create on his sets. I suppose I should wrap up by saying, it might be a bit of a hard one to remember, have you got a favourite Christmas present? Because this is the time of year, this is the sort of moment. But I don't know if you can think back to when you were a kid. I don't know if you... I'm guessing a cowboy outfit for you, maybe.
Yeah, there is a picture of me in a cowboy outfit.
That was 2 years ago, though.
I wasn't a child. No.
But is there I don't know if that is a thing. I can remember a bike. I remember my brother, my sister, and myself all getting a bike the same year, and that was just outrageously good.
Yeah.
And a cowboy outfit, actually, when I think about it. But yeah, we did cowboys and everything.
Actually, a bicycle is actually a big one for me, because one year my parents got me a mountain bike when it was a huge, big thing.
Okay.
But they actually had to get it at the time from the north of Ireland. A friend of theirs
Holy
was
moly.
from Belfast. There was no way to get it cheap enough, I think, to get it in Argos or something like that.
Right.
And they actually brought it down from Belfast and hid it in our neighbour's house for I think like 2 months.
Oh wow.
And then somebody wheeled it around on Christmas morning and then put a ribbon on it so that it was there for me.
Nice.
But it was a whole SAS expedition, so I guess.
Yeah,
so.
that's a big one. Yeah, that's nice. I don't know for you, Anna, was there any particular memory
I'm
that's...
trying to think of one. All I can remember is the one time where I can only remember my bad moment.
Well, that's all good. That's all
I
good.
wanted was a Cabbage Patch Kid doll, and they couldn't find the preemie that I wanted. So my grandmother got this beautiful homemade one.
Right.
But of course, I was like, yay!
But you threw it in her face. And you stormed out.
Yeah. So
You have not
that's
spoken
like
to her
one of
since.
the most horrible moment. Wish I
These
was
are
more
deep.
grateful.
These are deep cuts, really. You know, because they
So
mean
now
so
I'm
much.
grateful. Now I'm grateful for whatever I get.
Too late now.
Well, I wish you luck down, and we're really looking forward to this. As I said, I'll link to the old production just for you to give people a taste. But more importantly, we'll link to the tickets and all that and give it a bit of an idea.
Yeah.
And also, I'll link to AboutFace just so people can figure out what you're up to next and all that kind of stuff. But nicely done, kids.
Excellent. Thank you.